The following is a production of WCMP Sports. It's time for high school basketball action here on WCMP. Tonight we'll see the Pine City Dragons getting set to take on the Mille Raiders. Tip-off is coming your way shortly, but now we send it to the court for the pregame. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's basketball broadcast here in Pine City, the home of the Pine City Dragons, as they host the Mille Raiders here in this great River Conference game here this evening. I, of course, am Ethan Game Day Gilman, and I'll be bringing you all the action from tonight's contest here at Pine City High School in this great River Conference matchup. Of course, if you're not familiar with Mille, the Raiders, they are the co-op of Onamia and Isle. They formed, I think it's now been 2 years ago that they formed the Mille co-op as the Raiders. And individually, some of their teams have had some very good seasons, and they came together to form a co-op, and some of those teams had really good seasons, and they continue to have really good seasons as a co-op as well. Well, they decided a couple years ago to do that. They were each in 9-man and then single A, and now for football I know they're in single A, and then for everything else it is still single A. But they do, I know for some sports, play a little bit of a different schedule now for the co-op as we get ready to take a look at these two teams as we go and take a look at the Mille Raiders, who haven't won a game yet this year. They're 0-9, 0-5 in their section, which is Section 5 Single A, and not having won a game yet. But they have played a tough schedule, and you might look at their schedule and go, well, these aren't great teams, but they're tough teams, and I think that's one thing to look at. And some of their losses have been pretty darn close looking at it. They've had a couple of losses that have only been by 6 or less points, So there's been a couple of games already here this season where they have been close, and they've been able to keep it close, and wonder if they can't just manage that gap just a little bit and find a way to get out on top, because a lot of teams, all they need is a chance, or the chance to be out on top for just a little bit of time and taste that lead for a little bit before they start to run away with something. And maybe that's the case here for the Mille Raiders. We'll have to wait and see. I know I've been calling games for a couple of years now, and I do recognize some of the names that the Raiders have there on their team. I know Eric Peterson Schleiss is another one of them. Jacob Gallion, he's a very good basketball player. Remmer, or TJ Reamer. I've never actually learned how to 100% say that name. I've heard both Reamer and Remmer. We'll see what they say here tonight as they announce the starting lineup, so we'll listen to that, because usually they talk to the coaches beforehand and they get the pronunciation right beforehand. So we'll see how they pronounce it as we get through the starting lineups. But looking at this Mille Raiders team, again, haven't won a game yet, but it has been close. And I mentioned just some of the tough teams that they played: Swanville, East Central, just to name a few. Then you've got Barnum and Aiken on there. Those two teams very, very good in their own right. And then they played against Bram just last Friday night, and that was unfortunately a loss for them. And it's unfortunate that they haven't had a better season, but you feel like a win's coming sooner than later, and we've seen, I think it was East Central, I think it was their volleyball team that hadn't won in a couple of years, and it looked kind of grim, but I think it was 2 years ago now, not this past season, but the year before, that they finally won a game, or a match, I guess you would call it, in volleyball, and then they won one more, I think, or a couple more, and then this past season they won a couple more again. So sometimes all it takes is just getting that first win out of the way, and then it starts to snowball in a good way. So we'll have to wait and see if that is indeed the case here for Mille. It's going to be a tall test here against the Pine City Dragons. They're the Dragons, again, on their home court here this evening. And it's a great River Conference matchup in which Pine City is 1-1 in. So it'll be or 2-1 in, excuse me. They did get that victory over Ogilvie last Thursday. Totally forgot about that game. It's been my memory's not that great, folks, and I look back at the fall sports season that we just had, and I'm like, wait a minute, that was like 2 years ago. Well, no, it was just this past fall. It has been a long, long season, but I'm so glad to be a part of it here, especially this evening here to watch these two teams go at it. And a lot of times I don't get the opportunity sometimes to call games for Mille Lacs or some of these other teams, and them to be able to come here to Pine City for me to get an opportunity to call a game. I am so happy to be here and be able to call this game between these two teams. But continuing to take a look at Pine City, they had a rough start to the season, lost 3 straight against Painesville, East Central, and North Branch. But then after that, they kind of got things going. They were at a holiday tournament in which they beat Mesabi East and Cloquet. Then they came home and defeated Rush City. Well, then they went and played against a very tough Chisago Lakes team, loss. And just last Tuesday, they hosted Foley, and that was a good game between these two teams. That game, Pine City had a couple of 10-point leads there, I think in the first half alone, and then in the second half they also managed to get out to a 10-point lead again. But Foley did a great job of controlling things on the defensive side. They were able to basically bring the Dragons' momentum to a halt, and Pine City could not find any open shots, and Foley was able to transition that ball to offense and turn it into points. Sooner than later, they got things going their way and managed to get points, and they cut the lead down to 5, and then sooner than later they tied it up. Then they had a lead. Then they built up a lead themselves. Pine City had to come back, and their comeback fell just short. You feel like if we had probably 30 more seconds, up to a minute more in that game, probably would have been twisted the other way around. Maybe Pine City would have come out on top. But give credit to Foley. They played a terrific game there in that one as they got the victory 65-63. And again, that was a section game in Section 6AA, and they actually have the same record now as Pine City at 4-5. After that Pine City game, they went on to lose to Zimmerman by only 4 points, 75-71. So this is going to be a fun section. Of course, they've got a ton of teams that they play during the regular season in this section, does Pine City, plus a lot of the top teams in the state in this section. So it's a very tough section. It's almost unfair to some of the teams because a lot of these teams, I think we've seen it the last 2 seasons. Pine City and a couple of our other teams, Mora, I know I'm forgetting a couple, that are in this section and were blowing out everybody, not necessarily blowing them out, but having just a great year. Their record was one of the best, but they were down to like an 8th or a 7th seed because of how tough this section is. So that just goes to show you how insanely difficult this section is to try and get out of. But Pine City looks for a victory here tonight. Again, it's a team you just can't overlook. You can't just look past this team and think, oh, well, it's Mille Lacs. They haven't won a game all year, this and that. You certainly can't look past this team, because the moment you look past this team, that's the moment you're going to give them their chance, and that's all a team like this Mille Lacs team is looking for. All they're looking for is a chance to just sneak past you for a moment and then roll on through with a victory. Of course, looking forward to the rest of this week for Pine City. They do play 2 more games after today, one at home on Thursday, and then one down in the Twin Cities at the Target Center on Friday. If you haven't yet, go to our website. We have a link on there for tickets that need to be bought in advance for that game. So if you haven't yet, make sure to go to our website at wcmpradio.com. Just go to the sports tab and click on Sports Roundup. That will be where the articles are for the sports, and it will be under, I think, it'll have a Target Center picture on the front. That's the article you click on, and that's where the link will be for tickets to buy to that game on Friday. We will be there. I get the opportunity to go down and call that game, and I am more than blessed and excited to be going down there on Friday. It's first of all, it's going to be Friday, so it's going to be the weekend, and then second of all, I get to go to the Target Center and call a game. That's going to be just so cool, and it's again against a section opponent for Pine City. So I'm more than excited to be able to go down there on Friday, as I am to be here this evening for this game between the Pine City Dragons and the Mille Lacs Raiders. We're just about set to get things going as, again, Pine City will be home on Thursday as well against Hinckley Finlayson. They'll take on Maple Lake on Friday. So these two teams just about set to get started here in this one. About a minute and a half left here in the warm-ups, and then after that we will get our starting lineups announced. We'll have our national anthem before that, and then after those have been done, we will be set for tip-off here at the home of the Dragons inside Pine City High School. We'll take a commercial break, hear word from some of our fine sponsors, and then when we come back, we'll be set for basketball action here in this boys basketball matchup in the Great River Conference between the Pine City Dragons and the Mille Lacs Raiders. I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. You're listening to boys basketball on 106.5 FM AM 1350 WCMP.
No appointment? No problem. Injuries and feeling ill don't always happen during normal business hours. That's why Wellia Health has urgency services open 7 days a week. Urgency Services in Pine City offers the care you need when you need it. Hours are now 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. No need to call or make an appointment. Just stop in. When tomorrow isn't soon enough and normal business hours just won't do, you can count on Wellia Health to be there for you. Live life well at Wellia Health.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Most Americans do not have a proper will or estate plan in place. Many of you listening have been putting off that important task for a long time. Stop waiting and contact Spear & Swanson today. Spear & Swanson can help you put together a tight legal estate plan to make sure the assets you've been working so hard to obtain get passed on to your loved ones in the way that best fits you. Spear & Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-629-7586. That's 320-629-7586.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a four-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
It's time to start pushing snow. Sorry, just the messenger. Thankfully, Minnesota Equipment in Isanti has affordable machines to do the heavy lifting. Any size property. Toro and Aaron's walk behind snow blowers. Oh, you got land, huh? How about John Deere lawn and garden tractors? Or a compact utility tractor? Minnesota Equipment has them in stock. Snow removal doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not if you get into Minnesota Equipment, Highway 65 in Isanti, or visit minnesotaequipment.com.
Hey, I'm Chad Greenway. When I was playing, I loved chasing down running backs. But you shouldn't have to chase your bank around when you're buying a home. Franzen Bank and Trust Mortgage Consultants will be with you stride for stride, like a linebacker on a running back, from pre-approval to closing and beyond. Let Franzen Bank guide you through the mortgage process. Learn more at franzenbank.com/get there. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A&W Restaurant Pine City is still making fresh root beer, that signature item since 1919. It's still made fresh and on-site with real cane sugar and a blend of secret ingredients. It doesn't get any better than this. Their world-renowned A&W root beer is a classic treat, and they can top it off with creamy vanilla soft serve to be known as the famous A&W root beer float. Now that's smooth, tasty, and refreshing. An American iconic A&W root beer float. It never tasted so good. A&W Restaurant Pine City. Come grab your root beer float today.
106.5 FM, let's take a look at your starting lineups for the Mille Lacs Raiders, wearing their white away uniforms. They've got the red and yellow stripes, their red numbers and letters outlined in yellow, and they're head coached by Jay Runyon. It'll be number 0, Eric Peterson, number 1, Thomas Schleiss, number 10, Jacob Gallion, number 22, TJ Reamer, and number 34, Hunter Hagberg. On the other side for your Pine City Dragons, who are head coached by Kyle Allen, wearing their home green uniforms, white letters and numbers outlined in black with the white stripe down the side. It'll be number 14, Isaiah Haas, 23, Luke Wilson, 24, Lamont Sidney, 31, Mason Charles, and 32, Riley Cummings. Of course, they are head coached by Kyle Allen. 18 minutes are up on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. Custom braces are in Invisalign with 3 locations in Pine City, Lindstrom, and Cambridge. The tip-off is not really won by anyone. It was up in the air. No one got a hand on it, but the Mille Lacs Raiders will start with it as it's Gallion who has it, and then they try to pass it inside to Thomas Schleiss. It's going to go out of bounds, and it will be last touched by the Dragons, so the Mille Lacs Raiders will get to hold on to it. 11 seconds have come off the clock. Inbound here from Eric Peterson goes to Schleiss over on that far side. Top of the key to Gallion for three. And it's missed on the far side. Rebound there by Isaiah Haas. And Lamont Sidney, the Euro step, unable to bring it into the basket. But the rebound there from Mason Charles. And then a three from Luke Wilson. They're going to double team Gallion on the far side of the court. And now we're going to get a whistle. We already got a timeout here by Runyon and the Mille Lacs Raiders. So sometimes if you see something that you don't like early on, the best thing to do is nip it in the bud and just get it figured out right away. No need to let it drag on. If you see something that you already don't like, might as well just nip it right then and there and get it figured out to go and move forward. And that's what the Raiders will do here. A Monday night game. I don't know the last time I've called a Monday night basketball game. It feels like it's been a while, and to be totally honest, it's probably only been like 2 weeks. So, but it just feels different tonight, and I think it feels a little bit different because of the fact that, first of all, it feels like it's spring, and the snow is melting. So maybe I'm getting a little more excited for spring, even though it's January. I'm hoping it's maybe turning into Texas, and we're just going to have 50 degrees the rest of the way until summer. Great passing by the Mille Lacs Raiders. Schleiss from Peterson to Gallion, and then tried to get it to Reamer, but it was just out of his outstretched reach, and it will go out of bounds. So back to the Dragons with 17:20 to go. Luke Wilson will take it up the court here for Pine City. Gives it off to Mason Charles, guarded well on the far side to Luke Wilson now. Wilson trying to get around Gallion. He gives it off on the far side to Cummings, whose shot is up and no good. He meant to do that, meant to get it to Lamont Sidney, who has it, and gives it off now to Luke Wilson for three, and that shot is up and no good. That was rebounded there by Hagberg, and the Mille Lacs Raiders get it up the court quickly. Schleiss to Peterson. Now gives off to Gallion on the top of the key, and he fakes Charles, then goes inside to Reamer. Reamer gets around one, gets around two, puts it up and in for two from TJ Reamer. 3-2 quickly go the Dragons up the court. Nice move by Mason Charles. He drives inside, puts up the layup. It's in for two, plus the and one. Great pass there from Luke Wilson to Mason Charles. He kind of lifted up the ball just enough to fake the shot and then drove to the basket, plus he was fouled. So again, we'll look for the and one opportunity from Mason Charles. That first foul is going to be on Hunter Hagberg of the Mille Lacs Raiders. And Charles completes the three-point play. So a three-point play there, and now it's going to be stolen away by Mason Charles. Inside to Riley Cummings. His shot is up, no good. Gets his own rebound, but it's going to be taken back by the Mille Lacs Raiders, and that was Gallion who brought it down, and then I think it was out of bounds. Yep, out of bounds. Last touched by the Raiders, so the Dragons will get it back. 16-18 to go. They lead 6-2. Inbounded here to Wilson, top of the key, over to Mason Charles. Now to Isaiah Haas. Haas in the near side corner, back to the far side, back inside to Lamont Sidney. His shot is up and good. Lamont Sidney for two makes it 8-2. And that ball is stolen away. I mean, credit Lamont Sidney for it, but Riley Cummings is going to bring it in. Nice move by Luke Wilson. Give it off to Lamont Sidney, who drives inside. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line and shoot two. Great passing there by the Dragons after the steal. And again, Lamont Sidney deserves pretty much all the credit, and Riley Cummings will come down with the ball on the steal, but yeah, that all goes to Lamont Sidney on that one. His shot is up and good. He's been really good from the free throw line, and Lamont Sidney is a huge defensive presence for this Pine City team as we get a substitution here. Julian Tompkins, will check in for the Raiders. No good on the second one from Lamont Sidney. The announcers jinx there, and nobody will come up with the rebound. It will go out of bounds off of a Dragon, so it will go back to the Raiders. 9-2, Dragons lead, 15:53 to go in half number one. This ball is inbounded from Eric Peterson to Jacob Gallion. No, excuse me, that's Julian Tompkins. And Tompkins tried to get it back to Peterson, but it went over his head and out of bounds, and it will go right back to the Dragons. So turnovers plaguing the Raiders early on here, just unable to get out of their backcourt. Now this pass over to Isaiah Haas goes back to Wilson. Wilson tries to fake the defender. Good defense there by Gallion. Then nice spin move inside for Luke Wilson, who puts it up and in for two. It's 11-2. Gallion trying to get away from a double team, but they're going to get Lamont Sidney, I think, on the foul that time. And yeah, that's a tough one. That'll be team's first and his first as well. Again, double teaming Tompkins, but they get it up to Gallion. Gallion tries to go inside to Reamer. He just ducks under the pass, and it gets to Hagberg, and he puts it up and in for two. Nice job there by Reamer. Pass to Isaiah Haas, back to Wilson, puts it up and in for three. The passing has been huge here so far for the Pine City Dragons, and we get a double dribble on the Mille Lacs Raiders' Jacob Gallion. So far, again, the Raiders just unable to kind of get things out of their own backcourt. It's been the turnover so far, but a double dribble there. A quick inbound from Wilson up to Isaiah Haas, who puts it up and in for two. It's 16-4. So far, the Dragons playing a little bit of full court press, and they'll double someone. This pass goes back to Peterson from Gallion, and they get up the court quickly to Hagberg. He's been pretty open so far tonight, and they've done a good job of getting him open. They'll give it off on the far side to Tompkins. Tompkins dribbles around the perimeter. Nearly had it stolen away. He will have it stolen away by Lamont Sidney, and he's looking to take it the distance. His shot is up, no good. We're going to get a foul call here on the Raiders. Defender did not set his feet in time, so it will be a foul on the Raiders. That's on Tompkins, his first, team's third, and Lamont Sidney goes to the line for two. 16-4 is the Dragon lead, 14:41 to go. Shot is up and good from Sidney to make it 17-4. Sidney will look to get them both through, and he does. So good on both this time around to make it 18-4, 14:41. Inbound to Jacob Gallion. This time he's triple teamed, and ball still up for grabs. Let's see what the call is here. I think they got Sidney for a travel because he slipped and fell and then slid with the ball, so I think they got him for a travel. So ball will stick with the Raiders. It's Gallion who looks to take it up the court here for the Raiders. Facing more of a half-court pressure now, and that pass by Tompkins tried to get it by Lamont Sidney, and there's no way you're going to call. Okay, I was going to say they can't be calling a foul this time. Sidney doesn't agree with that one. Lamont Sidney, they say his foot was on the boundary as he knocked that pass away, and he just looks to his teammates on the bench and says, I don't know. Either way, Peterson has it for the Raiders, and they're passing around the perimeter. Gallion has it on the far side, trying to get around Charles. Back to the top of the key to Peterson. Peterson thought about three, and then he pulls it down, and he will take a long shot for three. That's going to go no good, and a fight for the rebound is going to be tied up. Possession arrow favors the Raiders. We'll give TJ Reamer credit for a rebound there. I think he had more of position than Lamont Sidney, but Lamont Sidney, they got a quick whistle kind of too on that one. Tied it up, and they'll call a jump ball. So the possession arrow favors the Raiders. They'll look to inbound. Peterson inbound here to Hagberg. Now to Tompkins for three. That's just off the mark and rebounded there by Riley Cummings. Luke Wilson up the court quickly. Back out to Lamont Sidney. He thought about three. Gives it back to Luke Wilson, who's going to drive inside. Gives it off to Riley Cummings, and his shot is no good. Hagberg with the rebound there for the Raiders. 18-4. And that last time around, the Raiders did a good job of just kind of holding on to the ball and holding on to some offensive possession just to drain some clock here on offense. But this time, TJ Reamer bumped into Sidney. Then he tried to pass off to Hagberg and went through his hands out of bounds. And it will go back to the Dragons. 13.5 to go as Cummings will inbound to Wilson. Wilson takes a jog right to center court and then almost stops. But now he'll look for a screen from Isaiah Haas. Going to use the screen to Drift to the near side. He'll get to the near side elbow and pull up a three as he's wide open. It's no good. Isaiah Haas, though, comes down with the rebound and gives it back to Luke Wilson. Inside to Cummings. Back outside. Near side corner for Isaiah Haas. He had a moment to breathe, but unfortunately could not get it to fall. Riley Cummings comes down with the rebound. Lost it for a moment. Gives it to Luke Wilson. Gives it off to Isaiah Haas again. All the way across court for Lamont Sidney, who pulls up a three. That's just off the mark as well. A couple of Dragons go after it, but it's Cummings who pulls it down. He gives it back to Luke Wilson. Very good defense so far here by the Raiders, but not that time. They're going to leave Charles wide open for three. And the Dragons struggling right now to get a rebound, as Reamer will get the rebound that time. So DJ Reamer with another rebound there, but they're going to get a foul here on Lamont Sidney. That one's a ticky-tack call because I think Reamer might have been bumping into Sidney as much as Sidney was bumping into him, but looks like they're going to call that in favor of the defender here tonight. I'm not saying defender as in Mille Lacs. I'm just saying the defender who was ever on defense. Looks like they're going to call that their way. Driving inside is Peterson. His shot is blocked by Isaiah Haas. Checking into the game for the Raiders is number 24, Josiah Mueller. We get looks like a full 5 in for the Dragons, and oh boy, another new number out there. I hope it's on there we go. Matthew Blake is in the game. He's number 10. I got so worried because last time there was a number out there that I didn't have, but this time we're all good. So Charlie Osmus will check in as a 3 shot is up and no good. And that's going to be Ashton Seals who is fouled. So out there is Charlie Osmus as well as Matthew Blake, Ashton Seals, Aiden Austinson, and Nick Plajek. 18-4 is still the score. It's Austinson who has it, and he looks to take it inside, gives it off to Plajek. Plajek will bounce pass here to Osmus. Osmus to Seals, now on the far side to Austinson. Austinson will take it inside, rides that boundary line, then gives it off to Osmus. Now to Seals. Seals is going to drive inside. The shot is up off the front of the rim. No good. Rebounded here by Eric Peterson. That's his first, and they'll look to try and get something going on offense as Gallion has it. Trying to drive in on Seals, but instead gives off to Mueller here on the near side. He's guarded by Charlie Osmus. Gives off to Peterson. Peterson going to take a little floater, and that's just off the mark. Nick Plajek going to come down with a rebound there for Pine City. Up the other way goes Charles Osmus. And a 3 attempt from Seals is no good. Ball still up for grabs, and Reamer got it for the Raiders, and he'll give it off to Peterson. Now back to Reamer. Reamer going to drive inside and put this one up. Oh, no good. And Matthew Blake comes down with the rebound there for Pine City. Off to Seals on the far side. He thought about 3, takes it down, gives it off to Austinson for 3 this time. And that's no good as it touches the strap that helps the hoop up and down. And that is out of bounds. So the Raiders will bring it up their way, and it's Gallion who gives off to Peterson. Now off to Mueller for 3. That's no good. A little too quick on the whistles here so far. As Reamer came down with the rebound, but they're going to get a foul call here on Nick Plajek, his first, team's third. So the Raiders will get set to inbound. It's Eric Peterson who looks. He gives it in to Mueller. Mueller on the far side. Now to Peterson for 3. That's going to come up well short off the front of the rim. It's Matthew Blake again with another rebound here for Pine City. Up the court for Austinson, who's no good. And Matthew Blake with the rebound, and he gets fouled. He'll line to shoot 2. Matthew Blake, a rebound machine for the Dragons so far. And this foul going to go against Julian Tompkins, his second, team's fourth. 10:48 to go. We've hit a little bit of a scoring lull here in the last 3-4 minutes. We're stuck at 18-4 with 10:48 to go. Matthew Blake's first one's up, no good. And Matthew Blake wearing number 10, a junior. 10:48 to go on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. Dr. Severs is committed to providing world-class orthodontic care in a friendly and comfortable atmosphere. Start today at EmbraceMN.com. And Matthew Blake gets the second one to fall, so it's 19-4 now. And he's guarding Tompkins well, and now he gives it off to that's Schleiss, and Schleiss looking for a Mueller who is cutting inside, so in the pass just goes behind him, so ball will go back to the Dragons as it goes out of bounds. Apparently the Raiders have 5 team fouls. I only got them with 4. Austinson will give it off to Osmus, who gives it off to Seals on the near side. And Seals tries to drive inside, gives it off far side to Nick Plajic. Plajic fakes the shot, he's going to drive inside, puts up a shot. His shot's no good, but he was fouled, and he gets to go to the line and shoot 2. Oh, I don't know about that one. I'm going to call that on Nick Plajic for a charge. I'm going to respectfully disagree with that one. Nick Plajic gets called for the charge, and up come the Raiders, and that one's going to be lost out of bounds by Tompkins. He had a lane, and he might have had a shot, but he just lost the dribble. And it goes out of bounds, and Tompkins will check out. Back in for him is Jacob Gallion. Seals will inbound to Austinson as the clock continues to run with 10 minutes to go. Austinson pass to Seals, now top the key for Nick Plajic. No good on his shot. Rebound up for grabs. Gallion's going to bring it down here for the Raiders. He'll bring it up the court. He lost the ball, and picking it up is Schleiss, and now this ball still up for grabs. Gets to Gallion. Gallion, that's a travel because he fell, but they get the tie-up, and the jump ball possession arrow favors the Dragons, so Dragons will get it back. 19-4, again, a little bit of a scoring lull here between these two teams, and if you're the Dragons, you want something to pick up. And this one going to be stolen away by Thomas Schleiss, and his shot is up and no good. They're going to call a Dragon for the foul. I think that was Ashton Seals they got for the foul. So 5 teams fouls as Ashton Seals gets his first. And it's Thomas Schleiss at the line to shoot 2. First one is up and good. So that'll make it 19-5 with 9:41 to go in the first half. And Schleiss, second one, no good. Rebounded there by Plajic, but Schleiss makes 1 of 2. And again, Plajic with the rebound. Quickly up the court goes Austinson, gives it back to Plajic for 3. That is a weird shot from Plajic, but it's rebounded and put up and in for 2 by Austinson. That is a weird shooting for him, but hey, it gets the ball there, so you can't really doubt him on his form. Almost has some sort of a backspin to it. Nick Plajic gets a hand on it, but it manages to get through to Mueller. Now Schleiss will pull up from short 2, and that's no good. Rebounded by Ashton Seals. Seals up the court and gives it off to Austinson. Now inside for Plajic. He's double teamed. And that pass ill-advised, and Gallion going to come away with a steal here from Mille. He's trying to work around Seals. He does get up to the front court, and he's going to pass it back to Peterson. Peterson on the far side to Thomas Schleiss. That one gets through. It's tipped and stolen away by Ashton Seals. Seals up the court. Takes it to the basket. His shot is up and no good. Coming down with the rebound is Osmus. He gives it off far side to Aiden Austinson, and it's no good for 3. That ball going to roll back to Seals for the rebound, and Seals will look to take it inside, gives it back out to Charlie Osmus for 3, and they right now are struggling from 3. Matthew Blake got the rebound that time, and that's no good. And then we get the Raiders who got the rebound, but Thomas Schleiss stepped on the boundary line, so we'll stay with the Dragons. 21-5, 8:20 to go. Looks like we will get our starting 5 back out there for the Dragons. Starting 5 back out there. Haas, Wilson, Cummings, Sidney, and Charles as inbounded here to to Haas, and he'll give it back to Wilson. Wilson, shot is up, no good. Thomas Schleiss comes down with the rebound. Gallion has it as he tries to work past Mason Charles. 21-5 is the score. He'll give it off to Eric Peterson on the near side. Back to Thomas Schleiss. Far side. Now trying to go inside to Reamer. That one's tipped, and it should stay with the Raiders. It will. It goes off of a Dragon hand out of bounds. So the Raiders will get to inbound it again, and it's Hagberg who will check back in. He has 2 fouls. He comes in for Thomas Schleiss. Peterson will inbound here for the Raiders. He does to Mueller for 3. It's no good, and Dragons unable to come up with that rebound. It will stay with the Raiders as it goes out of bounds off of a couple of Dragon players. 7:53 to go. 21-5 is the score. Inbound here to Hagberg. His shot is up and no good, and Luke Wilson will come up with the rebound, and he'll work it up the court to the far side. Gives it off to Isaiah Haas near side elbow for 3. That's good. 24-5 now the score for Pine City. Oh, and that pass to no one. And be stolen away here by Luke Wilson. The pass intended now from Wilson to Cummings. That goes out of bounds, and it will be Raider ball. So back-to-back turnovers here will give the Raiders basically the possession all over again. They turned it over on a pass really to no one, but then the Wilson pass to Cummings was just over his head, and it's a turnover again. Gallion double-teamed on this full-court press, but he managed to get it through to Mueller. Mueller up the court, nearly had it stolen away from behind by Charles inside to Reamer. Reamer, he had an open shot, but then was quickly defended by Isaiah Haas, and then Reamer took one too many steps. And they will get him for the travel. 24-5 is the score. Pine City's going to take a timeout here with 7:15 to go up on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. They lead 21-5. Embrace Orthodontics, helping you find a smile you will embrace forever. You can find out more at embracemn.com. 24-5 is the lead here for Pine City over the Mille Lacs Raiders. And again, a bit of a actually, I shouldn't say that. It was a fast start for the Dragons, but hit kind of a lull there, and trying to get these younger guys, these backups, some important minutes. That's what I was looking for. They're trying to get these backups some important minutes out there on the court, and I think that's huge because the more and more minutes the backups get, the more and more that becomes a helping hand to you in the playoffs, because once you get to the playoffs, you will, the bench shrinks a lot, and I mean a lot. But if you're a team that can go 10, 11, 12 deep in the playoffs, there's almost no stopping you at that point, because if you can get the same production from those guys, then you're starting 5, and you can switch that up a little bit, especially through the playoffs, that is huge. And I know teams won't normally switch up their starters with their backups, but, maybe that's a strategy we could look to. The clock is not running. We're going to have to... There we go. Yeah. And you get the clock running there for about 4 or 5 seconds as we get the three-point shot from Isaiah Haas, rebounded by Riley Cummings. He puts it back up and in for 2. 7 minutes to go now. 26-5 is the Dragon lead. Gallion double-teamed again on this full-court press. Goes back across the court to Peterson, then to Hagberg, and Hagberg nearly has that one stolen away. Oh, a jump ball call as a possession arrow favors the Raiders. Isaiah Haas pulled it up right at the last second, but the whistle had blown, and it will go back to the Raiders as the possession arrow favors them. 6:48 to go. 26-5 is the Dragon lead. Eric Peterson looks to inbound here. He does to Mueller. Mueller gives it off to Reamer. Reamer just inside the perimeter. Thought about a shot, and then he'll give it off to Gallion here on the near side. Gallion back into the near side corner from Mueller for 3. That's off the mark. And, somehow Hagberg comes up with the rebound there for the Raiders. But it's going to be stolen away here by Isaiah Haas. And he'll take it up court, give it off to Sidney now as that works into the near side corner. Stolen away by Gallion for the Raiders. And he tried to throw it off Lamont Sidney. But then it goes back to the Raiders and stolen away by Mason Charles, who puts it up and in for 2. Full court press again, now on Mueller, and he looks for anyone to go to. He finds his outlet in Gallion, and now quickly up the court to Peterson, quickly to Reamer, across the way to Hagberg, and that shot is blocked by Riley Cummings. And the shot rebounded by Hagberg after he almost made that shot from an odd angle, and now pass inside to Hagberg is stolen away by Riley Cummings. Quickly up the court goes Luke Wilson, who puts it up and in for two. A nice move around the defender to make it 30-5 with 5:35 to go. Gallion, again, double teamed on this full court press. They get it up quickly to Mueller. Now to Hagberg. Hagberg can drive inside, stops, gives it back to Mueller. Now to Gallion, top of the key. Gallion holds on to the ball, gives it off to Reamer here. Near side elbow. Reamer back across the way to Eric Peterson. He wanted the three, gives it off to Gallion. Down the far side corner. Now inside to Hagberg. Hagberg trying to get around the defender. And Isaiah Haas knocked it away. Cummings going to come up with the steal. Back goes Luke Wilson. His shot is up, no good. Cummings with the rebound. His shot is up and no good, and rebounded there by Mueller. Couple of opportunities there for the Dragons in that front court to get an offensive rebound. Not able to, and Mason Charles ties it up. It's going to be jump ball position. Favors the Dragons, so we'll go back to them. Another full 5. Is it? Yep, full 5 out there for the Dragons. Looks like we'll get a new sub for the Raiders in number 15, Noah Honick. Hayden Austinson gets the inbound pass, works it to the front court, gets a screen from Plajek, drives, gives it off now to Seals on the far side. Gets a screen from Blake, back over to Austinson. They're getting a couple screens out there for these players, but no one able to make anything out of it as Seals nearly traveled. Nice job to corral himself and give it off to Austinson, who loses his dribble for a moment, looking for someone open, gives it off to Seals. Seals gets around one defender, drives inside. We're going to say he traveled. I think, yeah, it looked like he kind of slipped out there, and unfortunately he planted his feet and slipped, and that's going to be a travel 10 out of 10 times. 4:20 to go here in the first half. 30-5 is the Dragon lead as Schleiss brings it up the court, gives it off on the far side there to Tompkins. Tompkins looking for Peterson. A blind pass, but somehow not stolen away, and it goes back to the Raiders. Shot is up and no good, and Blake going to come up with the rebound again here for Pine City. That's his 5th already for the Dragons. Austinson gives it off near side here to Charlie Osmus. It's a longer three. His shot is up and no good. Into a sea of white there, and coming up with the rebound is Tompkins. I was going to say, there's no way Pine City comes up with that rebound, and they didn't. They almost did, but they managed to pull it down to the Raiders. Peterson gives it off to Reamer. Now off to Schleiss on the far side elbow. Schleiss just inside the perimeter, pulls up a shot. It's no good. Reamer and Plajek will go out for the rebound and tie up again, and jump ball called. Possession arrow favors the Mille Raiders. So the Raiders will get to inbound here. 30-5 is the Dragon lead. 3:37 to go. Peterson will inbound to Reamer and tried to get it to Schleiss, but getting his hand in the way is Aiden Austinson, making it difficult. And the Raiders will have to inbound it again. Eric Peterson will look to inbound. He does to Schleiss. Schleiss gives it off to Reamer. That goes off his hands, but manages to come up with it. And they're going to get a foul, it looks like, on Pine City, but I respectfully disagree. Peterson will inbound it on the far side there to Tompkins for three. That's well short, and Seals going to come up with it. Seals another rebound, and he'll bring it up the court. Gives it off on the, wanted to give it off on the far side to Austinson, and he does. Austinson for three. That's no good, and they have struggled tonight from three so far, and not something you usually see from Pine City. Honick with the rebound for the Raiders, quickly up the court to Peterson on the near side, trying to go inside to Reamer, but that was knocked out of bounds. They're going to say bye, Nick Plajek, so it will stay with the Raiders, but we get another full 5 substitution here for Pine City with 3:06 to go. 30-5 they lead. Raiders will inbound. It's Peterson who inbounds to Schleiss. Schleiss gives it off to Tompkins. He gets around 2 defenders and gives it back to Peterson for 3, and that's well off the mark, and Lamont Sidney is right there waiting for it as it falls into his arms. He gives it off on the near side elbow to Luke Wilson for 3. That's no good, and Wilson comes up with his own rebound. And now he gives it inside to Lamont Sidney. No look pass to Mason Charles on the far side. Nice job. Now over to Isaiah Haas on the near side elbow, and that's off the front of the rim. No good. Coming up with the rebound is Tompkins, and the Dragons again struggling from three here tonight. This a blind pass and easily taken away by Lamont Sidney as he'll give it off to Mason Charles, who there's no way. You're going to say he traveled. I didn't see it. I thought he dribbled before he took a step, but action very quick. I could have easily missed it. My eyes, not the greatest, I should say. Mille Lacs will get another chance to inbound here. They do. Peterson gives it off to Gallion, and Gallion tells his offense to get to the front court. He's going to try and go one-on-one with Mason Charles, and Luke Wilson wanted to come on a late double team. And then they're going to get Mason. They have been blowing the whistle a little bit quick here tonight, as that's going to be a foul on Mason Charles, his first and team's 7th. And that will bring Gallion to the line for a 1-and-1. So Gallion at the line to shoot 1-and-1. As the Dragons lead 30-5 with 2:17 to go. Shot is up. It gets a friendly roll. Cummings was ready to bring it up the court, but 1-and-1 opportunity. So Gallion got the first one to fall. I'll bring him his total to 2 points and looking for his third. And this one is through as well. 30-7 now the scores. Luke Wilson will take it up the court quickly, working through the defense. Gives it off far side here to Lamont Sidney for 3, and that's through. Lamont Sidney gets that one through for 3, and then he gets a steal right off the inbound. Gives it inside to Riley. Cummings, who's no good, but he gets his own rebound, puts it back up and in for 2. Lamont Sidney, again, just a force to be reckoned with out there on defense. And, oh my goodness. Sidney can't believe it. I can't either. They've been really quick on the whistle here tonight. But you gotta play to what the referees are calling, and coaches will say that. Kyle Allen will say that as well. You gotta play to what the referees are calling, unfortunately, and you don't want to make them too much part of the game, but they are going to be somewhat a part of the game as Schleiss hits that one. And no good on the second. Cummings got held. Yeah. Cummings was going after the rebound and got held. Not sure who. It's Reamer who gets called for it. That'll be the teams. I only have 5 team fouls. I don't see anyone else with fouls, so I don't know. 5 team fouls. Probably 6, though, because more times than not, the scoreboard's right. I'm not. Lamont Sidney inside, gives it back out top the key to Isaiah Haas. He lost his dribble. He completely just lost the ball through his fingers. It will go out of bounds. They're going to say it was last touched by a Raider. Interesting. I thought that was clearly off of Haas, but they do not agree. Again, I'm not down on the court, so I don't have 20/20 vision either, so who am I to say? As this shot from Lamont Sidney, no good. Cummings went well above absolutely everybody to get that rebound, and he brings it down. He's close to 10, if not 10 right now. Nice pass from Luke Wilson inside, just outside the paint to Isaiah Haas, who puts it up and in for 2 to make it 37-8. 1:12 to go. That ball is going to roll out of bounds, but it was tipped by a Dragon player, so the Raiders just kind of let it roll. Again, 1:12 to go. 37-8 is the lead, and I'm sure Pine City certainly thinks they could have a bigger lead. It's Gallion. He stepped on the line, and the ball will go back to the Dragons. He was double, darn near triple teamed in the backcourt, and he really had no opportunity, and Mille Lacs is going to have to get someone back in the backcourt with him so he can at least have an outlet to give it off to. Inbound pass here to Sidney, to Charles, to Wilson for 3. That's no good. And coming down with the rebound is Jacob Gallion. He's going to be one-on-one with Wilson as he takes it up the court. Wilson nearly oh my goodness. That's just too quick of a whistle. That's just too quick. Gotta let him play a little bit. Gotta let him play a little bit out there. Either way, Luke Wilson picks up his first. 9 team fouls now for Pine City. As Jacob Gallion at the line to shoot a 1-and-1 opportunity. He made both his last time around. And he'll make the first here on this one. So, hey, maybe that's what the Raiders need to do here. Just try and work their way to the free throw line and get some free points because, again, this lead definitely could be bigger, but Raiders just being stifling on defense at times, and Jacob Gallion hits them both again. So maybe you just need Gallion at the line. 37-10 is the score. The shot is up and no good there from Wilson, and rebounded there by Schleiss. Schleiss got away with a little bit of a travel on it. They're going to call Gallion for a kind of a carry double dribble type thing where the referee said that he pinned it on his hip to kind of use that as a dribble. I didn't see it. Well, they did call him for it, and now the Dragons, I'm sure, will try and waste the rest of the clock here as Reamer and Sidney collide, and that one's going to go against Reamer. That looked weird from the get-go. Reamer will pick up his second. And Lamont Sidney at the line to shoot a 1-and-1. Shot is through. And again, like I said, more times than not, the scoreboard is correct, and that is correct. They have 17 fouls now due to the Raiders. Oh, let's see if this counts. Yes, it does. So both are through from Lamont Sidney. And we're going to get another foul call here on TJ Reamer. That'll be the team's 8th, and looks like Riley Cummings will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. So 3 fouls now for TJ Reamer and 8 for the Raiders. Reamer will probably sit the last 24 seconds. Riley Cummings at the line to shoot a 1-and-1. His shot is up and no good. Lamont Sidney comes down with the rebound. Missed his first shot, but brings it back in and puts it up and in for 2. Lamont Sidney, a steal, put it up and in for 2. That's 4 steals for Lamont Sidney. He's on his way to a double-double, triple-double even with the rebounds and steals he's got. 5 seconds to go, and the Raiders, give it off to Mueller. 1 second left. Gallion, the last second opportunity. No good. I thought there was not enough time left, but great awareness by the Raiders there to realize, hey, we've got at least 1-2 more passes left before the buzzer goes, and they set up Gallion with a perfect opportunity for that last second shot from beyond the arc, and he got it there in time, but just off the mark. So we go to halftime here inside Pine City High School. Up on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, it is halftime with the Dragons leading 43-10. It certainly could have been a bigger lead here for Pine City, but they'll take the 33-point lead. Oh, now they changed it to 11. All right. Now we got some math to do. Gallion has 4. Yep. Schleiss has 2. That's right. I don't know where they're getting 11. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I missed a free throw in there somewhere. They haven't made a 3 here tonight. Where is the free throw that I'm missing? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we work our way back from halftime here in Pine City, with, again, the Dragons leading on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, 43-11. Embrace Orthodontics, your custom smile journey starts with a free consultation. The team at Embrace Orthodontics wants to make your journey as seamless and convenient as possible with custom braces or Invisalign. Go to their website to find out more at embracemn.com. We'll take a commercial break. You're listening to Boys Basketball here on 106.5 FM AM 1350 WCN.
Choose the right divorce attorney. Spear and Swanson will make sure the judge knows your side of the story. Let them help you with your divorce, custody, child support, harassment, or orders for protection. They also handle DWIs and other legal matters. The right divorce attorney does make a difference. That's why you need to choose Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-620-7586.
The mushroom melt is back at A&W. How does this sound? Sautéed seasoned mushrooms and onions with melted Swiss cheese on your choice of a juicy burger or grilled chicken. Then add golden French fries and a medium soft drink. It's the mushroom melt and fries combo at A&W. Now, top it off with a classic A&W root beer float featuring vanilla soft serve and made fresh root beer, all in a frosty mug. Or how about the A&W root beer freeze? Signature combos and delicious treats always at your local A&W restaurant in Pine City.
No appointment? No problem. Injuries and feeling ill don't always happen during normal business hours. That's why Wellia Health has urgency services open 7 days a week. Urgency Services in Pine City offers the care you need when you need it. Hours are now 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. No need to call or make an appointment. Just stop in. When tomorrow isn't soon enough and normal business hours just won't do, you can count on Wellia Health to be there for you. Live life well at Wellia Health.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Most Americans do not have a proper will or estate plan in place. Many of you listening have been putting off that important task for a long time. Stop waiting and contact Spear & Swanson today. Spear & Swanson can help you put together a tight legal estate plan to make sure the assets you've been working so hard to obtain get passed on to your loved ones in the way that best fits you. Spear & Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-629-7586. That's 320-629-7586.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a four-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
Back here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350 WCMP. The Pine City Dragons lead here at halftime, 43-10. Certainly could have been a bigger lead, but it kind of a lull there in that first half. But again, they will take a 33-point lead going into halftime. Looking at the Pine City Dragons, leading the way for them was Lamont Sidney with 14 points. He also had 4 rebounds and 4 steals, but 3 fouls there in the first half, and they continue to let him play, and I think that was a smart option because it's been kind of ticky-tack here. The whistles have been a little too quick, in my opinion, here in the first half for both teams. I think that they need to let him play just a little bit. But Lamont Sidney led the team with 14. Luke Wilson with 10. Isaiah Haas with 7. 5 for Mason Charles. 4 for Riley Cummings. 2 for Aiden Austinson, and 1 for Matthew Blake. They had 12 steals there in the first half. Turnovers are a different story. I couldn't keep track of that. But 12 steals, 2 blocks, and 9 team fouls. On the other side for the Mille Raiders, leading the way for them was Jacob Gallion with 4 points there in the first half, then 2 for Reamer, Hagberg, and Schleiss. Again, someone out there has an extra point on there that I missed from a free throw or something. No, it is 43-10. That's what I thought. Okay, so it is right. They changed the scoreboard here from 43-10 to 2-11 right at halftime. And then now as we've gone through this halftime period, they got it, I think, figured out. And it is 10, so I am not missing anything. For the first time, I think this year, I've been right. Again, more times than not, the scoreboard is correct. And this time I did it. I beat them. No, they do have 10 points here at half, as it is Gallion who leads them with 4 points, and then 2 for Reamer, Hagberg, and Schleiss. And early on, it looked like Hunter Hagberg was going to lead this team in points, and I thought they were just going to kind of work the ball to him in that first half, and it was not the case. They did get 3 steals as well as 18 fouls, but yeah, I thought they were going to work the ball to Hagberg a little bit more, as he was able to get inside and work through the defense. He was able to float some balls through the net as he was working inside, and he's done a good job inside as well as he's held on to the ball very firmly, and he's been able to get himself open, and I think that's been a huge thing here tonight as it's being open and as well as trying to make the shots that he can, because the shots have been there for Pine City. They certainly have been there, or for Mille Lacs, but they just haven't been able to quite get the shots to fall here, and if they could even make a couple more, this game would be a lot different. But unfortunately, they have not been able to make the shots. And again, the fouls, they were starting to get some fouls on Pine City and get to the line. And again, Jacob Gallion went to the line twice, and he was 2 for 2, or 4 for 4, I should say, from the line here this evening. And that's where his 4 points have come from, are the free throw line. So I think for the Mille Lacs Raiders, you might look to try and get to the line a little bit more. Try and grab some more fouls on the Dragons and put your team at the line, because right now you're doing pretty darn well from the free throw. And they've only missed 2 there in that first half. So if you're the Mille Lacs Raiders, maybe try and get the Dragons into some foul trouble and get them to foul you a little bit more so you can go to the line and do well. For the Dragons, not much you need to change. They're getting what they're doing is they're getting their starting 5 out there, and then they're getting a completely new 5 out there just to get that, what I would consider to be the backups, some valuable minutes here in the first half. And again, those minutes will come in handy once you go down the stretch, because then if somebody gets in foul trouble late in the season or even in playoffs, they'll be able to come in and be a huge, valuable asset. For the Dragons, though, not much you need to change, if anything. I'd say foul-wise, you want to do a little bit better. Foul-wise, you don't want to have as many. But also, I'd say rebound. The offensive rebounds tonight have not been great, and I think that is going to be one thing that this team is going to look to do a little bit better here in the second half. They had a lot of opportunities to grab the offensive rebounds, but couldn't quite grab them, and I think if you're the Dragons, you want those second-chance opportunities, because when the Dragons get those second-chance opportunities, we've seen what they can do with them, and man, are they effective on getting those second-chance opportunities. So for the Dragons, not much you need to change. Defensively, obviously, you've held them to 10 points, but offensively, just look for those offensive rebounds and shoot. Maybe on defense, you might want to grab some more rebounds as well. We're going to catch one more commercial break before we get started here in the second half. You're listening to boys basketball.
It's time to start pushing snow. Sorry, just the messenger. Thankfully, Minnesota Equipment in Isanti has affordable machines to do the heavy lifting. Any size property. Toro and Aaron's walk behind snow blowers. Oh, you got land, huh? How about John Deere lawn and garden tractors? Or a compact utility tractor? Minnesota Equipment has them in stock. Snow removal doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not if you get into Minnesota Equipment, Highway 65 in Isanti, or visit minnesotaequipment.com.
Back here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350, I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. Here inside Pine City High School for this Great River Conference game between the Dragons and the Mille Lacs Raiders. So far, the Dragons hold a 43-10 lead. And yes, I promise that is right. I know a lot of times this year I've said, I don't know if that's right. Leave it to me to sound like an idiot. I guess Joshua was right all along. Either way, the Dragons do have a 43-10 lead, and they will get set to inbound here as 18 minutes are back up on the Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Embrace Orthodontics, custom braces or Invisalign with 3 locations in Pine City, Lindstrom, and Cambridge. EmbraceMN.com. There's the whistle. Here's the inbound pass to Luke Wilson, and we are underway. A lot of people would see this as out of hand. I think the Raiders have the Dragons right where they want them. Hey, 33-point lead. We've seen that before. A la Vikings. Colts, huh? 33 points? That's just 5 touchdowns. That's all you need. So you just need a 4-point play. Either way, the rebound is up and no good, or the shot is up and no good by the Raiders, and they'll get it back as Gallion will get the rebound, and they'll go inside to Hagberg. Now back out to Pearson on the far side, and rebound going to go there to Mason Charles. And he gives it off to Luke Wilson, who puts it up and in for 2. By the way, his opening shot to start the half was no good, and it was rebounded by Peterson. This shot, though, is good and through. 45-10 now, the Dragons with the lead. 35-33, same. Comeback is on the way here for the Mille Lacs Raiders. I can feel it. Peterson has it on that far side. He gives it to Reamer, who nearly lost it to Sidney, but he brings it back inside, puts up a shot. Nice job there by TJ Reamer, who almost gave it up on the steal to Lamont Sidney and then got it back, and now the shot is no good from Wilson. Back out to Lamont Sidney for 3. Riley Cummings brought down the rebound, and Lamont Sidney hits it for 3. So 48-12 is the score. As now Schleiss will give it off on the far side to Gallion. Gallion works to that far side corner. Gives it inside to Hagberg. Hagberg, he's been doing so well all night inside, and he shows why. Makes it another 2-point shot as Sidney will let the defender go by, puts it back up and in for 2. They are trying to feature Lamont Sidney a little bit more tonight on the offensive side of the ball, and that is why. He's been good all night and continuing to show you why. And he's also good on defense. I mean, I can't say enough of how good he is on defense. A lot of guys don't like to play defense. This one is stolen away by Mason Charles, and he's going to take it to the basket, but he was fouled. Jacob Gallion, I don't know how much of a foul it was, but they're going to get Gallion for a foul. And I'd like to let him see him play a little bit more, but either way, Mason Charles is at the line to shoot 2. That'll be the first team foul here in the second half for the Raiders. The first on Jacob Gallion, 15:48 to go. Charles' first one is through. Second one's going to come up short, rebounded by Schleiss. And he'll take it up the court on the far side, looking to, nearly stolen away by Haas, but great job to make the defender miss. Gives it off to Peterson, back to Schleiss. Schleiss going to drive inside. His shot, he had it tied up with Charles, and they're going to say it's a jump ball. The possession arrow favors the Mille Raiders. Eric Peterson will go back to inbound for the Raiders. 51-14 is the score. Inbounded to Hagberg. And stolen away by Luke Wilson. And the shot is up, no good. Rebounded by Schleiss. So Wilson with the steal, but no good. And then a shot from Hagberg is up and good. To make it 51-16. Isaiah Haas gives it off to Mason Charles for 3. That shot is up and no good. And Reamer is going to come down with the rebound for the Mille Raiders. Gallion has it, top of the key, with 15 minutes to go here, second half. Gives it off to Schleiss on the near side. Now to Reamer, near side corner. Reamer pauses, looks, trying to get around Sidney, and now a foul called on Isaiah Haas. Isaiah Haas got in there pretty quick, but he has fouls to give. That's his first of the evening. First here in the second half for the Dragons team. Isaiah Haas and Riley Cummings will check out for Ashton Seals and Nick Plajek. Again, between Isaiah Haas and Lamont Sidney, those two do a great job on defense. They play a little bit more aggressive on defense, which at times can lead to some fouls. But, man, I can't tell you that the defenders probably don't think twice any time they have the ball going up against those guys. That ball is going to go out of bounds off of Hagberg. So he could not hold on to it clearly. Trying to tote that boundary line, but couldn't quite hold on to it. He was guarded by, again, Lamont Sidney. So the turnover will go back to the Dragons, and taking it up the court is Luke Wilson here on the near side. Luke Wilson will pause for a moment. He's just waiting for the offense to set up, and he's trying to set up Gallion, and now gives off to Lamont Sidney for 3. That's no good, but Wilson going to come down with the rebound. Gives it off on the far side to Ashton Seals. He thought about 3. Gives it off to Wilson, far side corner for 3, and that one is tipped to Luke Wilson. I don't know who you give the credit for rebound on that one, but we'll give it to Wilson. Now back out, Lamont Sidney wide open for 3. Just off the mark, and great job by Hagberg. Grab that rebound one-handed. Gallion takes it up the court here for the Raiders on the far side. It's a screen, but then he's double-teamed, a blind pass, and that's going to be stolen away by Mason Charles. His 4th, and gives it off to Luke Wilson, and Luke Wilson is fouled. That'll go against TJ Reamer, and that'll be his 4th. So, unfortunately, he's either going to have to sit or you keep him out there until he gets his 5th. And in a lopsided game like this, I don't know what you do. But, again, the Raiders have the Dragons right where they want them. 35 points is the deficit, but let me tell you, I think The Raiders have the Dragons right where they want them. Luke Wilson will go to line to shoot 2. Oh, a kind roll from the rim as it hits off the front of the rim and falls in. He's checking in for the first time here tonight is Wesley Gabot for the Raiders. And Luke Wilson made the first, and he'll look to make the second. He does. So he hits both and make it 53-16 with just under 14 minutes to go. As Gallion will take it up the court here for the Raiders. Passes far side to Tompkins. Tompkins picked up his dribble. Now he's in a bit of trouble. Going to go inside. Nice job to Hagberg. Hagberg, I thought he should have took it to the basket there, but he'll give it off to Tompkins. Tompkins tries to drive inside. That's going to be stolen away here by Luke Wilson. Gives it up to Mason Charles. Now to Lamont Sidney, who puts it up and in for 2. And the N1. And that foul going to go against Hagberg. That'll be his third. Oh, no, excuse me. That's on Mueller. I don't think that's right. No, it is on Hagberg. His fourth. And Lamont Sidney makes them both, or makes the three-point play. So the three-point play is completed by Lamont Sidney to make it 56-16. 13.5, just under 13.5 to go here in the second half. Pass inside to Hagberg, and shot is up. That looked weird, but he got it to fall. It looked like he was going to go for the slam dunk, but was able to get it off the backboard and in. And then quick pass from Wilson to Nick Plajek, who puts it up and in for 2 himself. Great passing there by the Dragons, 58-18, 13 minutes to go. Gallion gives it off far side to Eric Peterson. I think he wanted to go to Gabot, but he'll give it back to Hagberg. I think you got to kind of get the offense through Hagberg right now. Gives it off to Eric Peterson, near side, wide open for 3, drains it. First points for Peterson in the first 3 of the night for the Raiders. And Luke Wilson shows off the dribbles, gives it off to Lamont Sidney. No, just off the mark, and wow, Gabot checking in for the first time here tonight. One-handed rebound, showing the grip strength and the length of his arms there on that one. And Eric Peterson for, all of a sudden, Peterson starting to feel it. And again, like I said, Raiders have got the Dragons right where they want them. Luke Wilson's coming back with a 3 of his own. It's no good. Nick Plajek going to come up with the rebound. Luke Wilson wanted to say, hey, I answer your 3 with one of my own. Looking for that 3. He's looking at the basket, but drives inside. He gives it back to Lamont Sidney, who thought about 3. Then he drives inside. Nice move, and does not get the roll that he wanted. Hagberg will get the rebound for the Raiders. He'll give it off to Gallion. Gallion works it up the court now. He'll give it off to Tompkins, now to Peterson. And Peterson's been feeling it from 3 here the last 2 shots, so maybe you get it to him or Hagberg, because them two have been doing pretty good here. To Peterson, and Jay Runyon calls the timeout, and Peterson, that one was on the mark, but just a little bit short on the 3-point attempt, as the timeout is called there by the Mille Lacs Raiders. And Dragons do lead 58-24 with 11:41 to go on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. Dr. Sievers is committed to providing world-class orthodontic care in a friendly and comfortable atmosphere. You can start today at EmbraceMN.com. Dragons didn't need too much time. They will get a couple substitutions. Looks like Seals will check into the game, as does Aiden Ostenson. Haas checks back in. Both teams back out onto the court, and the Raiders will get set to inbound. I've got to imagine that they're telling the team right now to either get it to Peterson or Hagberg. They've got a man in the backcourt. Oh, and then the pass inbound to Tompkins goes through his hands. And it will go right back to the Dragons. Inbound here to Aiden Ostenson, and he'll work just to that far side. He'll pause, give it off to Isaiah Haas, top the key. He's going to drive. Gives it off Ostenson, far side. It's no good, and Wesley Gabot with the rebound for the Raiders. It's Gallion who will take it up the court. Top the key, gives it off, far side to Peterson. Peterson does not attempt the 3 this time. Gives it all the way across court to Tompkins. Now to Gallion. Gallion goes inside to Gabot. Gabot Shot is blocked by Riley Cummings. Quickly up the court here to Nick Plajek, and up and in for two. Beautiful pass. Nick Plajek, great concentration to bring it in, and he puts it up and in for two. 60-24 is the lead. Peterson with it now for Mille Lacs on the far side, trying to drive in on Seals. He has to pick up his dribble, gives it off to Gallion. Gallion on that far side trying to drive in on Isaiah Haas, and that pass ill-advised to Austinson, and we're going to get Tompkins with the foul. That'll be his third, team's fourth. And the Dragons will get set to inbound in their backcourt. Dragons going left to right on your radio dial this half. The Raiders right to left. Cummings inbounds here to Aiden Austinson. Austinson will try to drive inside. He stops, gives it off on the far side to Ashton Seals for three. That's through. Beautiful looking shot there from Ashton Seals for three. Gets it through. And a three attempt from Schleiss is no good. Rebounded there by Gallion. And Gallion has it, gives it to Peterson, top of the key. Now over to Gallion. Excuse me, it was Schleiss who gave it to Peterson. Now to Gallion in the near side corner. You get a double dribble, and Gallion does not agree with that call, and either way, it is a turnover, and the Dragons will call a timeout. That'll be their second. Both teams will be left with 3 timeouts for the rest of this half. 63-24 is the score on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. They're helping you find a smile that you're going to embrace forever, hence their name. You can find out more at their website, embracemn.com. So I'm sure that sooner than later we'll see those JV players get to have their valuable varsity minutes, but that probably won't come until about 3-4 minutes left in the game. We got about 5 more minutes till we get to that point. And in a lopsided game like this, I'm sure it's tough as a coach to try and decide, when do you put the JV players in? How long do you let your varsity players go? Do you let your varsity players go the entire first half and then go for the first half of the second half and then put in the backups? Or do you do what Coach Allen has done so far, kind of switch between your starting 5 and then the backup 5 and then switch in your JV players with 3-4 minutes to go? It's got to be tough, and I got to imagine a big part of it has to be the sportsmanship part of it, because you have a big lead, what your offense has been able to do, but at the same time you don't want to give a chance for a comeback. But there's a lot that goes into it, and it's got to be tough for the Raiders. Though again, not over till it's over. It's close to it's 39-point deficit, but we've seen crazier things happen. Riley Cummings nearly had it stolen away there by Schleiss, and then they're going to call him for a double dribble. I don't know about that one. I think that was tipped and nearly stolen, so he had the chance to get it to his other hand, but they say double dribble. And now Gallion will take it up the court here for the Raiders, gives it off to Peterson, and he puts it up for 3. That one's well short, and Austinson came up with the rebound, then stepped on the line. He had the rebound, but then I think that heel stepped out of bounds. And the Raiders will get set to inbound. It's Schleiss. Inbound to Gallion. Gallion's double teamed quickly, but he gives it off now to Mueller. Mueller far side to Peterson. That's no good, and Nick Plajek comes up with the rebound on that one. Isaiah Haas storms up the court. Takes it to the basket. It's no good. Riley Cummings was there for the rebound, but they get a whistle, and Isaiah Haas will go to the line to shoot 2. 15 foul now for the Mille Lacs Raiders. This is going to go against 20, and I don't know. I apologize who 20 is. I don't have the number on the roster here for Mille Lacs, so I have no clue who that is. No number 20 here. I've got 21, 22, but no number 20 for the Raiders. Isaiah Haas does make the first one through. And Haas will get them both to fall. Haas makes them both at 65-24 with 9:10 to go here in the game. It's Slice on that far side with it for the Raiders, and then we get a foul here on the Dragons as falling to the court was that number 20 for the Raiders. It's going to be Isaiah Haas who gets his second foul and the team's second of this half. Checking in is Charlie Osmus as well as number 0, Jace Preston. Running out of room, not going to have enough room for these other guys on the stat sheet. I have one more spot available. Well, that's nice to see that the Dragons have been able to get in now 11 different players. Shot is up and no good by the Raiders Slice, and it's rebounded here by Nick Plajek. And he gives it off to Aiden Austinson. He stops and goes and nearly got that one to fall. Nice stop and go there by Aiden Austinson, and then he drew the foul. And that's going to go against number 20. So Austinson gets to go to line to shoot 2. We will have running clock, it looks like, the rest of the way, 65-24. It will be running clock unless a team calls a timeout, but other than that, it'll be running. Good on the first one is Aiden Austinson. And he makes them both. Aiden Austinson makes them both. And it's 67-24 now. Jacob Gallion will work it up the court here for the Raiders. He gives it off to Mueller on that far side. Excuse me, that's Hagberg. Oh, I think it's Mueller. I don't know. I have a hard time getting between the 3 and the 4. But either way, Schleiss will take it to the basket and put it up and in for 2. 67-26. Under 8 to go. Nick Plajek for 3. Oh, that looked. Oh, he gets the kind roll. Nick Plajek for 3. And he smiles on his way back to the defense. Oh, they're going to call that a 2? Oh, they call it a 2. So a 2. No, they call it a 3. A 3 attempt there from Mueller. And that's good. I might be just really off with my scoring. Charlie Osmus, either way, has it for the Dragons. His shot is no good. Aiden Osmussen tried to get the rebound, but it's going to go out of bounds. That's touched by the Dragons. I thought it was 67-26, but maybe I am just thinking wrong. There we go. It is. Okay. So it is 70-29. That's. I wasn't wrong. I just second-guessed myself. Jacob Gallion has it. Not that it matters at all. Stealing it here is Jace Preston, and he takes it to the basket. No good. But he was fouled. So he'll go to line and shoot 2. That one going to go against Jacob Gallion, his second, team's 6th. Shot is up and good from Jace Preston. Checking in is Merrick Overtomb for the Dragons for the first time here tonight, as well as Matthew Blake. That one is no good from Preston, so he makes 1 of 2. Rebounded there by the Raiders. And that pass nearly goes awry, and that 3 is no good and kept alive by the Raiders, but stolen away there by Jace Preston. And up the court for Aiden Austinson, who gets the kind roll, puts it home for 2. 73-29. Schleiss getting through the defense, gives it off now. And a travel call there on number 23. I don't have a 23 on here. Gosh darn it. So no 23, so I don't know who that is. Also out there is a number 21. Gabe Honig, maybe? Yeah, we're going to go with it. Either way, the Dragons get it back off the travel. Charlie Osmus top the key. 3 is no good. Rebounded there by Thomas Schleiss, who takes it up the court quickly, trying to get through Osmus. That's a no call. Interesting. They've kind of been calling that all game, but Honeck will get it back. Honeck looking, give it off to anyone. He's struggling. He gives it off to number 20. And again, I apologize. Some of these guys I don't have numbers for, and that shot is up and no good. Getting through some hands, but Merrick Overton will get the rebound for the Dragons. Again, running time, and the backups are in for Pine City with 4.5 to go in the game. Aiden Ostenson, nice move. A little floater gets the kind roll. And that'll give him 8 points on the evening for Aiden Ostenson, 75-29. Raiders bring it up the court. Thomas Schleiss gives it inside to number 21, Gabe Honeck. And it's stolen away there by Matthew Blake. And then he tried to take it all the way, but he was fouled, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. That's going to go into number 20. That's his 3rd and team's 7th. And a timeout called here by the Mille Lacs Raiders, so that will stop the clock with 3:47 to go here in this game. On that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, Dragons lead 75-29. Embrace Orthodontics, your customized smile journey starts with a free consultation. The team at Embrace Orthodontics wants to make your journey as seamless and convenient as possible. With custom braces, earn Invisalign. Find out more at embracemn.com. Stay tuned for the post-game interview with our A&W player of the game, as well as head coach Kyle Allen. He will bring up our A&W player of the game, and we'll get a few words from the player of the game, plus a word from head coach Kyle Allen. Everything seemed to kind of go right for his team here tonight. They have a 75-29 lead, but again, in these types of games, you have valuable minutes for those backups, but you also, I know, as a coach, you're still going to look to perfect things, because you're always looking to perfect things. You're always looking to get better, and again, as a team, you kind of always have to be looking to get better. And if you're watching this on our YouTube from our website at WCMPRadio.com, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're watching it, though, on our YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. That way you are notified anytime that we go live with a local sporting event. Again, that's on our YouTube page. This one is WCMP Sports 5. If you're listening on the radio, thanks so much for tuning in as well. And also, I want to say, if you're driving, listening to this game on the radio, please drive safe. It can be slick in some spots, even though it is close to 40 degrees. Please drive safe. So again, at the line is Jace Preston. First one is through. And that clock won't run until we get the inbound or a rebound here on this one if it is missed. Oh, no, it looks like the clock will run. Interesting, okay. And the second one, no good. So Preston is 50% from the free throw line as Honeck gets the rebound. Gabe Honeck for the Raiders. And he'll take it up the court and struggling on that far side. He gives it off now to Mueller. Mueller, yeah, long 3 last time he was out there. Gives it to Tompkins. Tompkins trying to get around the defenders, but he'll give it off to number 23. And now back to Tompkins. Tompkins double teamed. That one nearly stolen away there by Merrick Overton, but it will go out of bounds. And also into the game is, I do believe that is Eli Fromm, wearing that number 5 jersey for the Dragons. Raiders will inbound here to Gabe Honeck. Tompkins will look to pass inside. He fakes it inside, now gives off on the near side corner with 2:40 to go. 76-29 is the lead, and nearly poked out by Jace Preston. They're going to get him for a foul, though. His first, team's 3rd here in the second half. Clock will continue to roll under 2.5 to go. Dragons still hold a 76-29 lead. This inbound goes to the back court here for Gabe Honeck. And he's trying to get around the defense. He's double teamed and trying to dribble through it, find anyone to give it off to, and he finally does, but we're going to get a whistle here. And I think they're going to get Matthew Blake for a foul. That'll be his second, team's 4th. Under 2 minutes to go. The clock continues to roll again. I think it's I don't remember how big of a lead it has to be before the clock rolls without stopping. I want to say it's 25 points, but I feel like more it's 30. I don't remember. Tompkins has it, though, for the Raiders. He's at the top of the key, nearly has it stolen away by both from and over to him. And this one, shot is up, no good. Rebound, nobody got it, but it goes out of bounds, and it will be last touched by the Dragons, it looks like. So the Raiders will get to inbound once again. Tompkins will look to inbound. He's got a man wide open. Gets it to him. Now going across court to Tompkins again. Tompkins trying to drive inside. We're going to get Eli Fromm for a foul. That'll be his first, team's fifth, I believe. Yep. Tompkins will go to inbound again. Clock is rolling under a minute on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Tompkins will inbound it again, and they've done, I mean, to give them credit, they've had a long offensive possession this time around, even though the clock is running without stopping. But, hey, maybe this is something you can look at and take forward into your next games if you're the Mille Raiders. It's Gabe Honeck, who is guarded well, tries to get it to his teammate number 23 on that far side. He could not reach it as it will drop out of his hands out of bounds, and it will be Dragon Ball. I have a feeling we'll just see them dribble out the rest of the clock. As also into the game now is number 3. I believe that's Ryer Willert. Or no, is it Willert or is that Kin? Not sure. And they will just dribble out the rest of the clock. So that's going to be the final here. 76-29 is your final. The Dragons with the victory here over the Mille Raiders. So the Dragons will get the victory here and then improve on the season. I believe they'll get back to 500 with that win. As we take a look at their schedule. So the Dragons, yes, improve to 5-6, so they're just one below 500 on the season. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll hear word from our A&W player of the game and head coach Kyle Allen.
Hey, I'm Chad Greenway. When I was playing, I loved chasing down running backs. But you shouldn't have to chase your bank around when you're buying a home. Franzen Bank and Trust Mortgage Consultants will be with you stride for stride, like a linebacker on a running back, from pre-approval to closing and beyond. Let Franzen Bank guide you through the mortgage process. Learn more at franzenbank.com/get-there. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A&W Restaurant Pine City is still making fresh root beer, that signature item since 1919. It's still made fresh and on-site with real cane sugar and a blend of secret ingredients. It doesn't get any better than this. Their world-renowned A&W root beer is a classic treat, and they can top it off with creamy vanilla soft serve to be known as the famous A&W root beer float. Now that's smooth, tasty, and refreshing. An American iconic A&W root beer float. It never tasted so good. A&W Restaurant Pine City. Come grab your root beer float today.
Choose the right divorce attorney. Spear and Swanson will make sure the judge knows your side of the story. Let them help you with your divorce, custody, child support, harassment, or orders for protection. They also handle DWIs and other legal matters. The right divorce attorney does make a difference. That's why you need to choose Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-620-7586.
The mushroom melt is back at A&W. How does this sound? Sautéed seasoned mushrooms and onions with melted Swiss cheese on your choice of a juicy burger or grilled chicken. Then add golden French fries and a medium soft drink. It's the mushroom melt and fries combo at A&W. Now, top it off with a classic A&W root beer float featuring vanilla soft serve and made fresh root beer, all in a frosty mug. Or how about the A&W root beer freeze? Signature combos and delicious treats always at your local A&W restaurant in Pine City.
No appointment? No problem. Injuries and feeling ill don't always happen during normal business hours. That's why Wellia Health has urgency services open 7 days a week. Urgency Services in Pine City offers the care you need when you need it. Hours are now 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. No need to call or make an appointment. Just stop in. When tomorrow isn't soon enough and normal business hours just won't do, you can count on Wellia Health to be there for you. Live life well at Wellia Health.
Back here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350. We're now joined by our A&W player of the game, which is Lamont Sidney here tonight. First of all, Lamont, congratulations on the win and being our A&W player of the game. Well, let's get you turned up here first. That might help. But again, congratulations. And tonight, your play here this year has just, from last year, greatly improved. We've been able to watch you play over the last couple of seasons, but you led the team here tonight. And talk about your guys' ability here to get the win here this evening in the Great River Conference.
We had a plan before the game, and we stuck to the plan, stuck to what we were told to do, and came out focused. So that's always good.
And you're one of these guys on defense who loves to fly around and get blocks and just play for his team. Talk about what your mentality is on the defensive side of the ball.
Just play aggressive. Coach Allen always says play hard. You can't teach that, so he'd rather have you play hard and get fouls and, not give all your effort.
Absolutely, and we can see that on the court. It shows game in and game out with your blocks, rebounds, everything. It just helps this team continue to move forward. But how do you guys, in this game, how do you make sure that you didn't overlook this team?
Like I said, we came in focused. We didn't underlook them just because we thought we had the advantage on the game. We still came in focused and stuck to the plan the whole game.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on being our A&W player of the game.
All right, thank you.
That, again, was Lamont Sidney, our A&W player of the game. We'll now hand it over to head coach Kyle Allen. And, Coach, this team has great mentality coming into this one, not overlooking them, and they get the victory here tonight.
Yeah, we, every game has a plan. Every scouting report, every everything. We do it the same, regardless of who we're playing, what night we're playing, what the game means. We have a system, and we try to follow that system to a T. We have certain times we do something in the day. I mean, everything is kind of set, and so we always evaluate what we do. We evaluate our preparation. We evaluate how we get ready for games, how we scout, how we get a report ready, how we watch film. All of that is ever evaluating, but we try really hard to stick to our system and stick to what we do. It's hopefully a comfort for our players who, again, they are watching this as GV players. They're seeing this as C-Squad players, what it looks like to be prepared to play. And so hopefully that's something that continues to trickle down as years go on.
Absolutely, and I've mentioned it before, and I think that might be the story come the end of this year that is going to be talked about the most, but this team has not played together. This is kind of a brand new starting five, but talk about this team's ability to come in, game out, be so willing and ready to learn on the fly, to adjust, and to just be willing to be a team and continue to get better.
Yeah, if there was ever a year where you wanted to do like a behind-the-scenes TV special, this might have been the year. We've seen some weird adversities. We've seen some weird things that we haven't really faced, and I kind of thought we'd seen it all after the COVID years, and it is what it is. But the resilience of these guys, the good nature of them. I mean, I think just that senior group is just so easygoing and happy and go lucky, and that makes life pretty easy when you can have guys that have a positive attitude and their willingness to continue to learn. We can't divulge everything that happens behind closed doors, but these guys, they continue to work, they continue to grind, and again, the hope is that we're playing our best basketball at the end of the year. The hope is that we're able to compete here for a conference title. We're able to position ourselves for the playoffs, and hopefully we're playing our best basketball here at the end, so we can see how we really stack up.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about the conference here in just a moment, but Lamont kind of touched on it and how you've got a couple of guys out there who play really aggressive on defense, and sometimes we see that it leads to a couple more fouls, but I think you're okay with that in the sense that they're going out there, they're being aggressive, and a lot of times that's leading to turnovers for your team.
Yeah, an old saying that we started a long time ago was, make the coaching staff pull you back. Go so hard, give so much that the coaching staff has to say, hey, bring it down a notch. That's kind of our goal, and so we give our guys that challenge. How hard can you go? How much can you give? How aggressive can you be? We're not dirty. We're not trying to do anything against the rules, but we want high energy. We want high aggression, and when we have that, we're able to teach more. When you don't have to coach effort, You're able to coach more of the X's and O's. You're able to teach more. And in reality, you get a better look at who your players are to better evaluate who's doing what. If you're questioning their work ethic, if you're questioning their effort, you don't get a full picture of what you're trying to evaluate.
Absolutely, and we mentioned the conference just before, but you'll get another conference game back here on Thursday in Hinckley-Phillipson. Talk about that game a little bit.
Yeah, and, per usual, we do things a little differently, so we're going to celebrate our seniors and our varsity parents that night, so we're going to have a little celebration before the game. I'm not a big fan of doing them at the end. I know that's what most people do. It's just not what my style, not what I believe in. So we kind of put it somewhere in the middle of the season. It just so happened to work out for that night for us. So, yeah, we're excited for Hinckley to come. Hinckley, as a team, everyone was kind of talking about in this off season, and they have had a young group that they've kind of had some good success with that are becoming upperclassmen. So we're excited to have that opportunity to play them here on Thursday at home.
Well, congratulations, Coach, on the win here tonight, and good luck on Thursday.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your coverage.
Absolutely. That, again, was head coach Kyle Allen. And, again, the victory here tonight for the Dragons, 76-29. Of course, come out on Thursday, as the Dragons will celebrate their seniors, as you heard Coach Allen say. They will also celebrate the senior parents as well, as they play a huge role in getting the kids here to these games. So, again, the final here, 76-29. As we take a look at some post-game stats, I want to thank, first of all, Lamont Sidney for coming up and doing a player of the game interview, as well as Kyle Allen. As the stats for the Mille Lacs Raiders follow as this, Hunter Hagberg had 8 points in this game, which led the Mille Lacs Raiders. 6 for Eric Peterson, 4 for Thomas Schleiss, Jacob Gallion, and TJ Reamer, and then 3 for Josiah Mueller. They did have Hagberg, who led them in rebounds with 7. He had 7 of them, and he also had 4 fouls. They had, let's take a look. I think I had 9, but I think it was off. So I think they had 16 total. They only had 3 steals total in the game. In the Dragon side of things, leading the way for them, as I mentioned, was Lamont Sidney. He had 4 rebounds and 4 steals. He kind of took, I don't want to say a backseat in this second half, but he kind of more or less worked on the offense. He still did a great job on both sides of the court, but I think they kind of told him, hey, you can lay back a little bit now. And as Coach said, they want their players to play so hard and so strong that they have to tell them to take a step back. And I think they had them take a step back here in the second half because, again, they had a wide margin of lead, so they didn't really need to add on too much here to this lead in the second half. So they probably told Lamont, you don't need to go as hard, but I am sure it just seems like Lamont Sidney has that ability in him inability to not go strong at everything he's doing. He just seems like a young man who he puts 110% effort into everything he's doing. I don't think he has it in him to do anything less than 110%. We saw it here tonight. Now, as I was speaking with him, we've seen it grow throughout the last couple of years. He's kind of been raw as we've seen him throughout the last couple of years, and then this year I think he's really redefined everything and come into this season and has really come onto the scene really well. But he led the team with 22 points, 14 for Luke Wilson, 9 for Isaiah Haas, 8 for Aiden Austinson, 7 for Nick Plajek, and then we had 6 for Mason Charles, looks like 4 for Riley Cummings, 2 for Jace Preston, or 3 for Ashton Seals, and then Matthew Blake had 1 as well. Rebound-wise, it was Riley Cummings who led the team with 9 of them, 5 for Matthew Blake. He got a ton there in that first half. It was really good. Nick Plajek kind of came alive here in the second half, scored all 7 points in the second half. He also had 5 rebounds and only 2 fouls. They had 14 total fouls as a team here throughout the first and second half. They had 9 in the first, 5 in the second. They also had 3 blocks and 19 total steals, with 12 in the first half and 7 in the second. Of course, these are unofficial stats. I do the best I can to try and keep up with it, but sometimes it is just, you just miss a couple. That's just how it goes. But the final, again, 76-29, the Dragons get the victory over the Mille Lacs Raiders. They improved to 3-1 in the conference. They improved to 5-6 on the season. And looking forward, again, they will host Hinckley-Finlayson here on Thursday, then travel to the Target Center on Friday, where they will get to play against Maple Lake. For the Mille Lacs Raiders, this will not be their last game this week. They will play tomorrow at home against Ogilvie before traveling on Friday to Rush City to take on the Tigers. So those will be the next couple games for both of these teams as we wrap up this one. I want to thank all of you for tuning in here tonight, whether you watched it on YouTube. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe so you're notified anytime we go live with a local sporting events. If you're listening on the radio, thanks so much for tuning in, especially if you're listening in the car. Please remember to drive safe here. It's going to be slickery out there, so be sure to drive safe. I want to thank all of our fine sponsors for sponsoring this broadcast. Again, if they don't sponsor this broadcast, we wouldn't be able to come out here and bring you these games. So thank you so much to all of our fine sponsors. Remember to be kind to everybody. You never know what someone is going through, and your kindness could really make and change their day. Again, the final here in this one on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard, the Dragons 76, the Raiders 29. For WCMP, I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. Don't forget to tune into the morning shows on Nice 95.5 with Rockin' Robin Riley at 7:30 and 8:30 for your local sports updates, and on WCMP on 100.9 FM with Joshua Miron at 7:45 and 8:45. You'll hear an update from this game as well as updates from the other local games in our local listening area. The final one last time on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, 76-29 in favor of the Pine City Dragons. For WCMP, I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. Have a great rest of your night, and if you're driving, please drive safe.